Okay, now we're on to some business. We're very fortunate to have Dr. Barbara Schmidtman here today. She has a PhD in business administration, focusing in industrial organizational psychology, and master's degree in organizational leadership. Maybe you can share some of that with us today, too. Clinically, Barbara is a nuclear medicine technologist and has worked in healthcare in a variety of roles, including nuclear medicine, human resources, and leadership for nearly 17 years. Currently, Barbara leads the radiation oncology, ambulatory infusion research, and vascular access departments for Lakeland Health in St. Joseph's, Missouri. So we're very fortunate to have her here today to talk about how to build a business plan for your IORT program. Barbara.
So on to the exciting topic of business. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. So over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I hope to shed some light on how to build a business plan for IORT. Granted, there's many different things that we could talk about in terms of building a business plan, but first and foremost, let's see, the clicker. It's that arrow. Okay. Wrong arrow. So first and foremost, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a perspective as far as our geographical location and where I come from. So Lakeland Health is a 3-hospital acute care facility located in the lower southwest portion of the Mitten. If you are from Michigan, you recognize when we hold up our hand and point to our location like this. So Lakeland Health recently was nominated as one of the top 15 health systems in the nation, which is something that we're very proud of. We were nominated because of high quality, reimbursement aspects, as well as efficient health care. I have the privilege of working with an amazing senior leadership team, which full-heartedly believes in intraoperative radiation therapy. So, the components of a business plan. Business plan essentially has 4 main aspects. First and foremost, you need to have goals within a business plan. They must be clearly articulated, such as SMART goals. You have to have an analysis of the market. So who has what? Financial aspects. I think that's a hot topic here today or in the last couple of days. And then also promote the product. You have to be able to promote the product or market the product. So with that being said, I'm going to break this down into some lessons learned on our behalf with intraoperative radiation therapy. Specifically at our center, we are live with breast. We hope to bring neuro and GI up in the next 2 to 6 months is kind of our timeline. But so that aspect of goals of the business plan. So what exactly are we trying to achieve, those SMART goals? So for us, that was support of physicians and executive leadership. If you don't have the support from the physicians, the surgeons, the radiation oncologists, especially when it comes to those financial aspects, you need to have that. So then also align the goals behind your organizational mission. For our organization's mission, it's to enhance health and serve our community. So as you can see, that mission statement alone is in alignment with intraoperative radiation therapy. Also, you have to have the analysis of the market. So we were the first in the region, second in the state, shortly following William Beaumont by about 4 weeks. But we also, in the analysis of the market, we assessed potentially local competitors that had intraoperative radiation therapy. And one of our tactics, it wasn't necessarily research-supported intraoperative radiation therapy. So we have a competitor about 50 miles to the south of us who, broadcasts to the world that they have IORT. However, we rebuttal that with, you do not have research-supported Zeiss intrabeam intraoperative radiation therapy. So the analysis of the market, that's just something to consider and think about. So then the financial aspects, authorization process, we have been very fortunate, and I'll break these down in a little bit more detail. And then also the initial loss of revenue for breast IORT specifically. And lastly, in the promotion of the product, the marketing aspects. So to break these subcategories down for building a business plan, support of leadership and physicians. So a SMART goal is something that needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. There has to be some sort of timeline goals and metrics. So for us, a SMART goal in regards to intraoperative radiation therapy would have looked something like this. So we will implement IORT. You can see the underline with that specific piece using intrabeam technology, not just some other IORT unit. It's measurable by patient satisfaction and quality metrics. We have our own quality dashboard that we're utilizing. However, we are enrolling on the registry as well as a new site for Target B, woohoo. And the amount of patients when entering the health system. So what was the baseline? And then realistic, so by enhancing health and serving our community, again, tying in what your mission is. What is your mission in terms of the care that you're trying to deliver to the patients within your community? And then lastly, by the end of the first year of implementing IORT, ... So by the end of the first year, tying in, again, some sort of timeline metric goal. So for us, we set a goal that within 6 months, we would have done at least 25 patients on registry or on trial, and that we would continue to move the needle in terms of metrics for establishing a neuro and GI program. So again, we're in the midst of that within that first year. So this is the exciting part. So I'm pleased to say at our organization, we have had a 96% success rate in getting paid for breast IORT. That is, I'm understanding, kind of a remarkable number, and I owe that credit to a member of our team. We have a gentleman on our team who is he's considered a senior financial reimbursement specialist. He's entirely and solely the oncology service lines finance piece of the equation. So Shannon is his name. He wrote a letter at our first denial to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan that said something like this: congratulations, we just saved you $10,000 to $20,000 utilizing single dose IORT. It also goes on to say that not only did we save you money, but we also saved your patient, the patient, time, as well as stress, as well as daily travel, and this, believe it or not, has had what has been the basis for our success rate. We also have a similar letter drafted for those that are also undergoing the boost up front, followed by the external beam radiation. So kudos to Shannon. So then the other financial aspect piece for building a business plan is, that initial loss of revenue. So I've recently been contacted by our finance team and said, whoa, wait a second, your revenue's way off, because again, we're in the beginning infancy phases. So yes, maybe in the first 6 or so months, we in radiation oncology have lost approximately $1.2 million in revenue. That number's not scary to me, and the reason why that number is not scary is, first off, patients come first. The quality and the outcomes for our patients come first. And again, leading back into that topic that I initially alluded to, we have a wonderfully progressive, awesome senior leadership team that supports, first and foremost, patient outcomes and patient satisfaction. So they don't look at it as money lost, they look at this as money saved. They just need to tell the finance team that too. So then promoting the product, that next aspect of building a business plan. So promotion of the product, we have a wonderful picture here of our radiation oncologist, Dr. Benjamin Gilda, who was the forefronted thinker in this, bringing this to Lakeland. And then also Dave Seifert, our physicist who's sitting back in the audience. And I put this picture up here because we at Lakeland have limited resources, as many healthcare facilities do, for a marketing team. And so we had to come up with a grassroots effort and how in the world we were going to capture people within our system. So this picture was one of the pictures taken to help promote the product. So, and I have a little saying here because I think it's important. It's not all just about the marketing team. Each and every one of us are an advocate for promoting intraoperative radiation therapy using the intrabeam. And so, funny story, I wasn't going to tell this, but I was in a meeting with our CEO as I was preparing to speak to our leadership team, and he said, "You sound like a Zeiss rep." And I'm like, shouldn't all of us here sound like a Zeiss rep when we talk? So thank you, Jeff, for paving the way for us and how we should promote this product, because it's truly great. So then in promotion of the product, how we led our grassroots effort. This is kind of exciting because we made it known. anonymous phone calls to local newspapers, resulting in actually a double-page spread, wonderful news article about what we were doing for our healthcare facility, as well as sharing that it doesn't end with breast for us. Obviously, we want to bring in more, and we want to bring in the GI and the neuro. So, and also, anonymous phone calls to local television stations. I thank Jeff for this. He was a concerned citizen, and within 24 hours, we had our local news station on site at 5 a.m. reporting on the wonderful things we were doing at Lakeland for intraoperative radiation therapy. Oops, oops, whoops, uh-oh. Okay. So then Facebook postings. I have a lot of family that lives or is spread out throughout Michigan. And so I shared on Facebook more times than I've ever shared before. I'm really not a social media person. However, I shared many times saying things like, hey, family up north, in the event that you or anybody you know is diagnosed with breast cancer, early stage breast cancer, man, do we have something at Lakeland for you? So that was another grassroots piece to that. And then also announcements with our leadership team. This is something that I also think is kind of cool. So when we did our first case in November, we have a monthly leadership meeting where about 250 people, leaders within the organization, come together to get a variety of different updates with cool things we're doing. And so we made an announcement in the November Joint Leadership Council saying what we were doing, what we were going to be reporting back in 4 or so months. And then in February, we reported back that we had performed 18 IORT cases at that time, saving cumulatively about 65 weeks of radiation therapy for women. And this is the cool part, they gave us a standing ovation. So we have a awesome leadership team, community-based, just system of people who are excited about the right thing, and that's really what I wanted to drive home when you're building a business plan, is that you have to have that mindset. So then, within 4 weeks of a mass mailer, or actually, I'm sorry, within 2 weeks of a mass mailer being sent out, we brought 4 patients into our system for breast IORT that would have gone elsewhere. So we were able to obtain people into our system. And I think that's an important part of the finance piece too. When you promote the product and you bring people in, although it might look from those scary finance people's perspective, it might look like we're losing, but actually in the long run, with a proper marketing strategy, you actually are obtaining people. And so in conclusion, in building a business plan, you want to remember to set SMART goals in alignment with your mission. Make sure you have that senior leadership and the physician support and buy-in. Oops, Barbara Jean. Look at the market you might be able to capture, right? And then also under the financial aspects, including authorization process and increasing volumes. And then also promote the product. So I conclude with a picture of Ruth McMillan. For McMillan, she was Lakeland's first breast IORT case in early November, and she's given permission to share this. So I think this is exciting. So I woke up from the procedure feeling no pain or nausea, she said. What seemed scary to me at first turned out to be a rather minimal procedure. I can't stress enough what a miracle it was to have this type of treatment available in our area. And so my hope is that, that this inspires maybe some areas that have not yet gone live with intraoperative to proceed with it, because it's truly making a difference. So, and then this is beautiful St. Joseph, Michigan. If anybody would ever like to come and visit us, we have really frigid winters and very beautiful summers. So thank you so much.